Shalom, Yasharala. It's your brother Dawah from GMS Tampa Bay '07, coming back with another video. First and foremost, I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And salutations to you brothers pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Alright, I want to get to this quick lesson. Lord willing to be edifying, dealing with, what our mission is, the motive is, feeding the flock. Alright? So I'm going to jump right in it. This is St. John chapter 21. And I'm going to start at verse 15. So when they had dined, Yahushua said unto Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. And he said unto him, Feed my lambs. Okay? So the question was asked here, Yahushua asked Peter here was, do you love me? For you people who are saying they love the Lord, you ask the majority of people you ask, they say, oh, I love the Lord. So the Lord saying, look, if you love me, feed the flock, and the scripture says that love is to keep the fear of the Most High and to keep the commandments, So it's going hand in hand, hand in hand to what's being said here, feed my lambs, do the work, go out there and feed, you got starving people out there, go out there and feed them, they looking for the truth, so you need to go out there and feed them. Verse 17, and he said, verse 16, and he said unto him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. And he said unto him, Feed my sheep. Verse 17, and he said unto him a third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep. So again, what the Lord here is stressing is like if you truly love the Lord, if you saying in your heart, and you saying man that you love the Lord, now is that time to go out there and do the work. If you're on the other side of the videos and you've been watching and you've been learning and getting edified, and being built up, this is that time. We live in the end of the end. We at the 2-minute warning drill right now. So it's that time to pick up that plow, put your hand to the plow. The Lord saying, if you lovest thou me, feed my flock, feed the sheep. Go out there and fish the elect. There's other brothers that needs to be woken up, And so, that's what our mission, our motive is supposed to be right now at this time. Next precept is in 1 Peter chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 2. Feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucres, but of a ready mind. Okay, neither being lords over God's Yahweh's inheritance, but being examples of the flock. Let me go back. It says, verse 2: Feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So what it's going into is like, this job shouldn't be, trying to take advantage, like in the whorehouses. These people out here looking for truth. You're not supposed to be out there trying to take advantage of them. All right, look, I'll teach you the precepts. I'll teach you this and that, but you got to pay me. You got to do this for me. You're not trying to be a lord over these people, You like an older brother to a younger brother. You're trying to teach him how to tie a shoe, You're not trying to charge him for the understanding of how to tie a shoe. You want to see him, you tired of seeing him with his shoes untied, so you're trying to help him out, It says, verse 3, neither as being lords over Yahweh's inheritance, but being examples to the flock. Again, like what's that the reprobate down in Atlanta in the Atlanta camp. You're not supposed to be trying to get one over on the Lord's men. These men that's coming up under you humbly. You're not supposed to be trying to take advantage of them. You're supposed to be an example. They need role models. They need positive role models, and we're supposed to be ambassadors of Yahushua. He's our role model. These scripts are our role model, and we're supposed to be, not hearers but doers. Not ye hearers only, but doers as well. So we're supposed to be an example. You can't be going out there committing adultery and stuff like that, or stealing from the brotherhood. And what kind of example is that to be? You're supposed to call that kind of stuff out. You're supposed to purge yourself of your evil, wicked ways. When you come into this, you got to take off that old man and that stuff that you was doing, and put on, what the scripture tells us, and live like how the Lord had us to live. Verse 4. When the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Okay? There's a reward for doing this work. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elders. Yea, all you being subject to one another, and being clothed with humility. For Yahweh resisteth the proud, and give grace unto the humble. Okay, so this is like a direct cut to like those fallouts from I think it might have been the Chicago camp. Who talk about they supped directly with the Lord. They and those men once gave double honors to the elders, but now they turn their back on them. It says likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elders. Okay, because you're going to be taught and raised up by men. These men are going to be teaching you. And this is what you come in for. You go out there to fish the elect, and you raise up the next breed. And no matter what level you on, you have something that you could be edifying somebody on. Verse 6. Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Okay, so when you're coming into this, it says, let me read that again. It says, humble yourselves therefore unto the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time. Don't come in here all high and mighty thinking that you know everything. Humble yourself, keep quiet, learn, and grow into this thing. And in due time, the Lord, he'll, if it's the Lord's will, he'll set you on high. But nevertheless, you got to come into this thing, you know what I'm saying, in truth and sincerity. You can't come in this thing with your own agenda. You can't come here trying to be like, oh, I want to be a superstar and take over the shine of Israel, because Israel don't have a shine right now. We exalt in Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. We exalt in that name, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. This is they thing, and we pumping up them. We how do you say, metaphorically, we that intro music. They about to come out, and we the intro music, getting the crowd hyped up for them, fishing the elect, drawing the attention to what's about to happen, Next precept, this is Luke chapter 10, verse 2. Therefore he said unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth the laborers into the harvest. Okay, so what's going on here? Let me reread that. It says, therefore he said unto them, the harvest is truly great, but the laborers are few. In this thing, there's a lot of things you could be, doing for this work, this thing, that is going out to wake up Israel, on any kind of level. You don't have to be deep in the precepts, like Elder Apostle Tahar. You don't have to be as deep as him to go out there and do the work. You might have something, especially if you're a new brother, and you got a lot of milk stuff on there. A lot of the apostles and stuff like that. They might be doing some deep breakdowns over here and there, and they might not have the time to bring out that milk. And some of you newer brothers, that might be the only thing that so why not keep going? Push what if for instance, if you only know the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and you can break that down, sometimes the elders might not have time to break that down, and you could put forth that video. And like the scriptures say, we're many members but one body, so we all working together in unison to make one big thing, and for the people out there watching, especially newcomers, they don't know who's on what kind of level and stuff like that. They're just watching video. So you putting out a milk video, it could be, milk for them. They might not choke on, the meat scripture. So if that's all that you should be edifying, the body on that. You should be edifying the elect on that. If your thing is news or economics and things like that, there's plenty of work, there's plenty of work, but the laborers are few. There's work for any and everything, not to say that this is anything that's important or anything like that. Not saying that any of this is not not saying anything like that, but just for instance, you know, if you, for an example, a football team, right? We'll use this analogy. A football team got the football players and the coaches and stuff like that, you know. They also need extra help, you know. Sometimes they need water boys, they need somebody to drive whatever transportation, you know, if they flying, you know, riding on the bus, they need a bus driver, a pilot. They need somebody to book their hotel room, somebody to carry their bags and stuff like that. They need water boys and stuff like that, you know. But these people aren't being recognized on the field as being the football players, you know. So, but they all move together in unison as one unit to keep that whole thing functioning, you know. Read that one more time. This is Luke chapter 10, verse 2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest is truly great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore that the Lord of harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest, you know. Again, you know, this thing of ours, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of work to be done, but the laborers are few, you know. So, like I said, if you're on the other side of the videos and you thinking of this, you know, you looking at the other brothers and you like, oh, they're on some kind of level, they this and that, you know. The Lord started, you know, all the brothers started on some type of level, and we was all built up, you know. And we all have different, you know, abilities and things like that, but nevertheless, you know, don't think small-minded of the things that the Lord has blessed you with. You know, you might have just one little small talent, and that might be something, you know, that the whole thing was, you know, that's that perfect little piece that we all needed, you know. This is right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 19. Yet in the church I rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. Brethren, be not children in understanding. Howbeit in malice be ye children, but in understanding be men. So, you know, this twofold. It's like, you know, first and foremost, you know what you're talking about. You know, you'd rather be, you know, a person that know what the hell they talking about and a little bit of things, instead of a person who just talk a whole lot of shit and don't know what the hell they talking about. But at the same time, going into the lesson that we going into, you know, for some of you younger brothers coming in who might be thinking, oh, I'm not on a certain type of level, you know. I'm not as deep as Elder Tahar, or I'm not on the level like the brothers out in Dallas bringing out, you know, the algorithms and stuff like that, you know. It says don't worry about all that, you know. I mean, all the things that they all do it's edifying, you know. And they're on that level. That's what the Most High blessed them with, you know. But it says, let me read this again, 1 Corinthians 14 and 19. Yet in the church, I rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. So what he's saying is, look, I'd rather bring out 5 scripts, you know. Let's just flip it into, you know, what I'm talking about here. I'd rather be able to bring out 5 scripts and have a deep understanding of that and can break that down, and to know 10,000 scripts and no understanding on none of that, you know. Like when you go to these churches, right? They'll sit there and read you all kind of scripts all day in, day out, but they don't really understand the breakdowns of that. You ask them about that, they don't understand that, you know. So what was being said here is like, yo, I'd rather only know about 5 scripts, can break down those 5 scripts, and, you know, can recite the whole Bible and not understand anything they're saying, you know. So even if you do only know 5 scripts or 1 script or whatever, you only know a couple breakdowns, you know. Go into those breakdowns, keep going into those breakdowns, and, you know, once you put in your hand to the plow, the Most High is going to see what you're doing, you know. And if you're diligent and in truth and sincerity, he's going to give you that increase. So really the scripts is telling you that there's really no excuse. Oh, I don't really know much, you know. I just, you know, came into this. I'm just learning this is that. Well, if you just learned, let's say you woke up the first day, right? And you learned that you was an Israelite, right? You learned that you was an Israelite because of, let's just say the only thing you can remember is I learned I was an Israelite because the Bible say so, you know. And it's Deuteronomy 28 is the only thing that you know. You should go into bondage again by ships, you know, and no man shall buy you. If that's the only thing that you know, you go out there, you can go out and run and tell that, you know. You can go out and put videos up. Then you can go in and try to break that down even further, do some research and give further edification. And by the end of the day, when you start researching and going into that, you're going to find more information that you can bring out, you know. And then that's just how you start building and growing, you know. So, like the scripts here saying, 1 Corinthians 14 and 19 again. Yet in the church, I rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. Okay, so you might be able to talk a whole lot of shit, but it's just a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? But pray ye that you at least, if the Most High only bless you with just a little bit, that you know that little bit. You might not, in a carnal sense, you might not know nothing about all the other cars in the world, but you've been working at one car factory for a long time or something like that. You know the ins and out of that car. Like, I don't know about them, but I know about this. I know how fast it goes, how, what it take, how heavy it is, how light it is, the dimensions of it, up, down, side to side. You know that car to the T. If somebody needed something on it, you know what that car is. But for the rest of it, that's not, that wasn't what you was blessed with. Next precept I'm going to get is in Romans chapter 12, start at verse 3. For I say through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according to as Yahweh has dealt unto every man a measure of faith. Okay, and so, again, it's twofold. For one, you shouldn't come in this thing and try to be all high and mighty and proud, But on the flip side, for you younger brothers, look, don't think, the Most High put certain men up on certain levels to be in certain places. Yes, there's an order with things, And, I'm not saying that Elder Tahar is not an elder or nothing like that, because the Most High, it's clear that the Most High set up order. We're going to have order like that. But at the same time, don't worry about, look, the Apostle Tahar is on this type of level and I'm not on his level, so I can't do this work. No, he gave him that amount, he's going to give you your amount. It says, for I say through grace given unto me. So it was something that was given, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, So you're not supposed to think of yourself highly as you should think, but then also on the same level, don't think of yourself like so lowly that you're not even good enough to understand this and to do this. If the Most High, Scripture say, my sheep will hear my voice, If you hear this voice, you got a resonation in your spirit and your soul, and you can understand this, And the Most High is giving you, the ability to teach at least something, Then, that's your calling. You need to go and do that, But you can't compare yourself to somebody like Apostle Tahar and say, oh, I'm not on his level, so therefore I'm not a man of the Lord, The Most High set him up to play his role in his position. And, you might have a different, we many members in one body, He might be the head and you might just be a toe. But at the same time, that toe, serves an important purpose, Hold on, let me keep reading down. Hold on. This is, Romans chapter 12, verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according to Yahweh, as Yahweh has dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, like I was just saying, you might not have been created to be, in the same office as Elder Apostle Tahar, but at the same time, not to say that your role isn't important, So don't try to compare yourself to people like that and stuff like that and say, oh, I'm not on the level because I'm not at they spot, Especially when you're coming into this, you got to humble yourself. You got to be humbled and brought down low to be built back up, You got to take off that old flesh. You got to be reborn and retaught everything. So, of course, you're not going to come in on no level like that, For verse 4 again. For as we have many members in one body, all members have not the same office. So we being many are one body in Yahushua Hamashiach, and every one member of one another, having the gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Okay, having different gifts according to the grace that's given. We're gonna be given different things. You can't be like, because I can't break down algorithms like this, I'm not on a level. No, that's the gift that was given unto him. You have to find what your gift is, and you have to let that light shine, It says, having the gifts different according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation, and he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity, and he that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Okay, it says, actually we're gonna just stop right there, but again, what it's saying here is, like, again, you're gonna have you got many members but one body. You got different people with different jobs, you know, and you can't sit there and loathe on that because you might not see yourself in a certain position. You might be trying to model yourself after a certain person or somebody that you see in the body, and you might try to compare yourself unto them. You have to this your own individual thing. Well, not your own individual thing, but you have to work out salvation on your own. You know, you have to find out what the Most High is doing and dealing with you. You know, you don't know exactly what your role is. You know, I'm pretty sure none of the brothers came in, you know, with their, you know, looking at the positions that they in now. You know, I'm pretty sure when they came in, they wouldn't have thought that's what the type of level the Most High would have had them on. You know, you don't know where they started out at. You know. Last script I'm gonna get is in Matthew chapter 24. I'm gonna start at verse. Or actually, here we go. This is Matthew 25, Salakia. I'm going to start at verse 14. This is Matthew 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, and to every man according to his several abilities. And straightway took his journey. Okay, basically he just gave them, you know, gave every man what he could handle. You know, if you know, if you can only handle this amount of a portion, you know, if you got a truck that can fit 36 boxes on it, we're gonna give you 36 boxes. But if you got a truck that can only fit 12 boxes, we're not gonna give you 36 boxes. And if you got a little pickup truck or something, you can only fit 2 boxes, we're gonna give you 2 boxes. You know, you can't handle all that. We're not gonna give you all that. Or like Jake like to say in the world, you know, we're not gonna give you all that work if you can't produce all that. So what's the point? You know, we're gonna give you what you can handle here. Okay, it says, and he that received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and he made them 5 other talents, and made them other 5 talents. So he went out and he put his talents to work. You know, he went out and he took. Now he's saying talents here as far as something as of value as far as money, but we understand this is a spiritual story. So, you know, how do you say, he went out and he took his 5 seeds, planted his 5 seeds, and now he got 5 trees growing, and now they producing an abundance of fruit. You know, he went out and he doubled his money up. He went out and and like Jake like to say, he flipped it. You know, we didn't came up, we didn't put in, and we didn't came up on something real quick. You know, and it says verse 17, and likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2, but he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid the Lord's money. Okay, and after a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with them. And so he that received 5 talents came and brought the other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou hast delivered unto me 5 talents. Behold, I gained beside the 5 talents more. Okay, so first of all, we got the third one. He went and got his 1 talent, and he went and he hid it in the ground. You know, he, more or less to say, he went and put it in the bank, a non-interest bearing account. Basically, he just sat it somewhere, or he put it in that shoebox. You know, put it in a shoebox and put it under the bed. You know, it says and the Lord came back, you know, and he was asking, you know, what y'all do with my money? You know, let me see what y'all did with that work right quick. It says verse 20, and so he that had received the 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I've gained beside them 5 more talents. And the Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things, and I will make thee ruler over many things, enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Okay. And he also that received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou hast delivered unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. And his Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou in the joy of the Lord. Okay. And so these 2 servants here, that they went out and they flipped it. They went out and they did something to it. They put it to work. Oh, we're gonna go get this. We're gonna try to make a come up. They didn't when it came up on it. They went out there and took those seeds that the Lord gave them and planted them. Now they got a garden going. They got a whole field. The Lord gave them 5 apples. Like, look, here go 5 apples. Let me see what you do. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't take them 5 apples. We didn't got us 5 different apple trees. You gave me 5 apples, but one of these trees can overproduce 5 apples, so we good. The one said, look, Lord, you gave me only 2 apples. You know what I'm saying? But I planted them 2 apples. Now I got me two apple fields, 2 whatever they call it, like oranges. We got 2 orange groves. You only gave me 2 oranges, but now look, we got us 2 orange groves. And now we're gonna get into that third one. And the Lord said, it says, he says, well done, good and faithful servant. You was faithful with that. You know what I'm saying? Well, first of all, he called him a good servant, but he said he was faithful with that. You wasn't scared that what I gave you, you know what I'm saying? At least, you put it to work. You tried to do something with it. The Lord say, hell, if they don't want to hear prophesying to the wind, at least you trying with it. You know what I'm saying? You trying to go do something with it. The Lord's going to be the one to give you the increase, And it says, verse 24, then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid the talent in the earth. And lo, thou hast that is thine. Okay, so basically what he said, look, I knew, Lord, you was basically a hard man, and I didn't want to lose that what you gave me, so I just hid it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want nothing to happen. I didn't want to, you gave me this truth, but I didn't want to go out there and get locked up preaching this word out there on the highways and the byways. So I just stayed at home. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tell nobody about this. I didn't want to tell my parents about this and then have my parents looking at me funny or nothing like that, and then fuck up the relationship with my family or my old lady or nothing like that. I didn't want to go out there on the highways and the byways because maybe my boss would see me and I would lose my job. So you know what, Lord, I just hid my talent. You broke this truth down to me and woke me up and told me all of these riches. But I'm gonna just hide that on the sideline and just pretend like ain't nothing happened. Okay. Verse 26, his Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sow not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou ought therefore to have put my money into the exchangers, then at my coming thou should have received my own with usury, therefore or interest. Therefore take the talent from him which gave it unto him which have the 10 talents. For everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have an abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. Okay? Cast ye the unprofitable servants in outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So basically he's saying, look, bro, you was gonna hide my shit, bro. You might as well just gave it to them niggas over there who was gonna fuck it up anyway, because like that's you hiding this truth is just as good as, not just as good, but it's pretty much on the same playing field as somebody coming and making mockery of it. It's still falling on deaf ears, or it's still not going out to feed the elect, to edify the elect. You still got this you trying to hide this stuff. It's the Lord said, look, put it out there. Go use on housetops, the mountaintops, like spare not, sound the trumpets, hold not back. He's supposed to go out there and spread this truth, on the 4 corners of the earth. He's supposed to put that out there, like how we do nowadays. We put it on the YouTube, where basically the whole world can see it. The brothers who putting videos up, first of all, on the highways and the byways, you out in the city, for some brothers, you out in the city where, people are walking by, and, you could be exposed to anybody, people that people you don't know, your boss and stuff like that, the police, like just anybody, you can have any and everybody walk up to you, you got a police walk up to you and say that they know you, but, this is, this takes a lot to go, to go out there like that. You exposed to the whole world, and then nevertheless, when we put these videos up, anybody in the whole world can see these videos. The whole world can know you. You basically exposing yourself throughout the whole world. This is that faithful servant. Look, what kind of do you know right now that they got facial recognition right now, picking up our faces and stuff, geolocation, so they tracking us. They know where we are. We out there on the highways and the byways week in, week out. They got police reports on us. They got what they call those they used to have them called like the FBI informational cards or contact cards, like the terrorist cards or whatever. They got profiles on us like that. But this is that faith, the patience and the faith of the saints. He says, thou good and faithful servant. You have faith in the Most High that, look, you're going to go out there and push that work. And we're going to give you that window of opportunity. You go out there and you go do your thing. I'm going to give you a little season for you to do your thing. You go out there and let it marinate for a little while. Don't be scared. Just go out there and push the work, and I got you. And that's what the two servants with the 5 and the two talents did. They're like, look, we're going to go out here and make this thing work real quick. But that one servant, he was like, look, I was scared because, whatever situation it was. And so now I'm going to just hide this because, I want to be able to give it back to the Lord when he come back, I don't want nothing to happen. What he's saying, he didn't really want nothing to happen to the money, but parabolically, he afraid to go out there and do the work. He don't be like, oh, well, I might, get laughed at. I might get arrested or beat up or something like that, get death threats, or like what I was going to in this lesson. I might not be on that level. I don't want people to expose me. Look, if the Most High dealing with you, he going to put his spirit on you, and he going to take care of you, That's that faith. Look, I gave you these talents. I'm just need you to go and work. I don't need you to worry about the quality of the quality of the product or if it's going to sell or not. I gave you the product. You go out there and you flip it. You flip it in truth and sincerity, But you go out there and you flip it, and it's going to come back and kick back on its own, I don't need you to plan and plot and meditate on what I got with my product. I got a good product. You go out there and you do the work. Even if I give you, some brothers going to get 5 talents. Some brothers going to get 2 talents. Some brothers going to get 1 talent. But whatever you do, you go out there and you flip it, Lord willing, I hope this video was edifying. And until next time, I want to say all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to you brothers pushing truth and sincerity. Shalom.